Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're doing something totally fascinating. We're literally pulling back the curtain on how top-tier finance content is made. You know when you watch a brilliant financial explainer and think, wow, how did they make that so incredibly engaging? Well, today, we have the exact recipe. We're going to deconstruct the literal master prompt that top creators use to build what we call the investor's path to success. It's the ultimate behind-the-scenes look at how digital financial advice is actually engineered. Let's dive right into the source material. Look at this overarching command. Act as a professional YouTube scriptwriter, finance educator, and storytelling expert. I mean, it doesn't just say, hey, write a script about money. No way. It demands a triple threat persona. You need the tight structure of a scriptwriter, the deep authority of an educator, and the pure engagement of a storyteller. This right here, this is the foundational secret to building that journey toward financial freedom. It's got to teach you something for sure, but it absolutely must be a story. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First up, the finance educator's blueprint. Second, hooking the audience. Third, structuring the investor's path. And finally, maximizing audience retention.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the finance educator's blueprint. We're talking about the strict parameters of digital wealth education.
So, the very first crucial constraint is the word count. It's exactly 1,200 to 1,500 words, period. That is a hard, non-negotiable limit. Now, you might be wondering, why does that matter so much? Well, 1,200 to 1,500 words translates perfectly to about a 7 to 8 minute readout lab time. That is the absolute sweet spot. It's long enough to give you genuine, actionable value, but short enough to respect your time and keep you from getting fatigued. It's literally a mathematical constraint designed to optimize how you learn. But hey, it's not just about how long it is, it's about accessibility. This blueprint is laser targeted for a personal finance and investing channel, and the delivery method is strictly simple English. Now, the source text also demands it be 100% original, copyright-free, and SEO optimized. But that simple English mandate, that's the real game changer. If you're trying to guide someone on the investor's path to success, you can't just throw dense Wall Street jargon at them. You have to translate those complex financial realities into simple, everyday language that actually makes sense. Okay, moving on to Section 2, hooking the audience, capturing that attention from the very first second. Take a look at the highly specific pacing required here. Step 1. A mandatory 20 to 30 second powerful hook. You literally have half a minute to convince someone not to click away. And that aggressive hook flows right into Step 2, which is a beginner-friendly introduction. So you hit them hard with a massive promise and then immediately comfort them by making it super accessible. And it doesn't even stop there. Step 3 demands curiosity hooks sprinkled throughout the entire script. It is essentially a calculated psychological trap just to keep your attention constantly refreshed. And all of those hooks? They're anchored directly to this specific topic, how to build wealth even on a low income. This is honestly brilliant because it caters directly to a highly specific, high-need audience. It attacks the number one objection people have to investing, that idea that you already need to be rich to get rich. By framing the whole script around building wealth on a low income, the creator is promising a realistic investor's path to success for just the everyday person. It's pretty much the ultimate hook in personal finance. All right, let's get into the meat of it with Section 3, structuring the investor's path, the core educational payload. Now check out these exact educational components demanded by the prompt. It requires practical wealth-building strategies, real-life examples, actionable money tips, and common mistakes to avoid. It's just a perfect, well-rounded formula. It ensures the script isn't just preaching theory at you. By blending those theoretical strategies with actual real-life examples and specific mistakes you need to dodge, it creates this fully dimensional, super engaging learning experience. And notice the very specific number required for those strategies. Exactly 7. 7 practical wealth-building strategies form the mandatory backbone of this financial path. No more, no less. It's a classic, totally digestible number that gives the audience a crystal-clear roadmap. You know exactly how many steps are ahead of you, which makes the whole learning process feel incredibly organized and, most importantly, achievable. So all these elements come together to form this highly structured journey we've been talking about. Think about it. You start by warning the audience about the common mistakes they're probably already making. Then you pivot right into actionable money tips they can actually use today. And finally, you lock in that new knowledge with real-life examples so they can see the theory in action. It is just an incredibly smart, effective way to handle digital education. Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, Maximizing Audience Retention. This is the polish that keeps viewers watching. I love the juxtaposition here between the two different types of requirements the prompt demands. On one side, you've got the technical requirements, right? The script has to be SEO optimized so people can actually find it. It needs B-roll suggestions to keep it visually engaging, and it demands really smooth transitions. But then on the other side, you have the emotional requirements. It has to be beginner-friendly, it needs a motivational conclusion, and the ultimate goal is to literally maximize retention. The technical polish is really just the vehicle, but the emotional connection, that is what truly makes a financial script perform like a top-tier creator's content. And this all builds into a perfectly engineered climax across 3 distinct phases. First up, you educate using those 7 practical strategies we just talked about. Second, you motivate the viewer with that required motivational conclusion, basically leaving them feeling totally empowered on their wealth-building journey. And third, right when their motivation is at its absolute peak, you activate them. You hit them with a precise call to action, to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It is a flawlessly engineered funnel. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Looking at this rigorous, highly detailed blueprint, I really have to wonder, does the perfect financial explainer rely more on the math of those 7 wealth-building strategies, or does it rely on the psychology of the scriptwriter who structures them? Like, is the true engine behind digital wealth education the financial data itself, or is it that meticulously structured, curiosity-hooked, simple English delivery that actually ends up changing viewers' lives? It is definitely something to think about the next time you find yourself captivated by a great explainer. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this. I hope it gives you a fresh perspective on the architecture of the content we consume every single day. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.